An island of floating plastic in the Pacific Ocean, uninhabited by humans or animals, has eradicated thousands of species of mammals, birds, and marine life. It is now inhabited by solid waste, specifically plastic waste, making it the largest garbage patch in the world, dubbed the eighth continent. Located between Hawaii and California, it is 3 times the size of France, making it the largest repository of ocean waste in the world, containing 1.8 billion pieces of floating plastic that kill thousands of marine animals every year. Despite its size, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is not visible from satellites, as 94% of it consists of tiny plastic particles that have degraded from larger pieces. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is so large that it is dubbed the eighth continent. Worldwide, 1 million plastic bottles are purchased every minute, with up to 5 trillion plastic bags used worldwide every year. Half of the total plastic produced is designed for single-use purposes, used once and then discarded. The plastic continent was discovered in 1997 by American oceanographer Charles Moore as he returned from a boat race, finding himself faced with a sea of plastic waste. It took Moore 7 consecutive days to cross the waste, describing it as a frightening scene that made me feel horror. After 2 decades, the continent continues to grow, covering an area of about 1.6 million square kilometers and containing 80,000 tons of plastic, according to a study published in the journal Nature in 2018. It is one of the largest environmental crises facing the planet. How was it formed? These microplastic materials, with a diameter of just a few millimeters, come from waste dumped on land as well as abandoned fishing gear, including nets, baskets, and cages. However, maritime trade and shipping are the major contributors to waste leaking from ships, largely concealed in environmental studies, and the main contributor to this environmental disaster. When these particles, scattered on the surface, reach the North Pacific, it acts as a fast lane for ocean waters. Converging currents gather them, then spit them out in larger pieces floating across the ocean. The result is a large soup of floating garbage halfway between Hawaii and California, forming a massive island of debris. Who's to blame? Scientific evidence suggests that Asia is the main contributor to the garbage in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, with another major factor being the increase in industrial fishing in the world's largest ocean. According to a study published in the journal Nature, 2/3 of the items collected during the research contained text written in Japanese or Chinese, with 9 languages identified, and the oldest piece of garbage dates back to the late 1970s. Consequences of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Captain Charles Moore warned of the spread of ocean pollution and that plastic would cover every inch of the world's beaches in the future. The warning came during the International Solid Waste Association Conference for 2019 held in Bilbao, Spain. It is also impossible to determine the extent of the damage to the animals living in the vast amount of plastic pollution each year, as thousands of marine mammals and seabirds die after ingesting or becoming entangled in abandoned fishing gear while searching for food. For nearly 6 years, a report by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, has warned of microplastic particles in up to 800 species of fish, shellfish, and mollusks. Our health may also be another major victim of the accumulation of marine debris. Microscopic plastic ingested by fish and other species we eat enters our bodies through the food chain. For example, a study conducted by Greenpeace and Incheon National University in South Korea in 2018 found that 90% of salt brands sampled from around the world contained microplastic particles. The UN Environment Programme has warned of the world's plastic production in its latest report, stating that the world produces about 400 million tons of plastic waste every year. If historical growth trends continue, global primary plastic production is expected to reach 1,100 million tons by 2050. We have also witnessed a worrying shift towards single-use plastic products, items that are supposed to be disposed of after a short single use. Approximately 36% of all plastic materials produced are used in packaging, including single-use plastic products for food and beverage containers, nearly 85% of which end up in landfills or unregulated dumps. Of the 7 billion tons of plastic waste generated worldwide so far, less than 10% has been recycled. Millions of tons of plastic waste are lost in the environment, or sometimes shipped thousands of kilometers to destinations where it is mostly burned or disposed of. The estimated annual loss in the value of plastic packaging waste during sorting and processing alone is between 80 to 120 billion US dollars. These single-use plastic products are everywhere. They have become an integral part of our daily lives. If we do not act now, our planet will suffocate from plastic waste and we will lose control of it.